users. If you look at our array here, it has got only our array here has got only 3 users here, which makes it easy for us to just manually type them like what we did here. But let's assume that you're working with 1,000 users. You have to manually type them one by one until you get to 1,000. Now, this is too laborious and it's time consuming. Instead of doing that, why don't we use a loop? And in this case here, Angular, before Angular 17, we used to use ngFor. But with the introduction of version 17 and going upwards, then there was the introduction of okay, so with ngFor, it does pretty much the same with what we do with ngFor, but the only difference is that the syntax, in terms of syntax wise, the syntax is more aligned to what we do have with other programming languages like TypeScript and JavaScript. So to demonstrate this, let's jump straight to our template, and we want to replace this manual way of doing things with our loop. Okay, so the first thing we're going to comment out this. Then right here at the top, we will then go on to say h2, and then this time we're using okay, so we're going to say at 4. So let's just say look, it's fine this way. Right, there we go. Then here we will do pretty much the same. We will have our select, and inside our select we will only have just one option, and we tap. Okay, just like what we did with our earlier select, we want to do a two-way binding, so I'm just simply going to copy this and paste it here. There we go. And then okay, so and then let's add our loop here. So we're going to say at for tab, and we want all our users, and we also want to track each and every user by ID. Save your work. Okay, and then we also want this option here inside the loop, because we want to loop through all our options. Okay, all right. So as we loop through our list, we want to display each and every item, each and every option. So to do so, we will again use binding, data binding that we did earlier on. And so I'm just going to use this. I'll copy this and paste it in here. Say value is equals to user, which is our user here. And then here we will just simply go on to say we want to use interpolation. Our interpolation, and then within the interpolation we'll just simply say we want user dot name. Do the same here, user dot role. Okay, I think that's all we want from here. Save your word, and there we go. Yep, so this works pretty much the same as what we had earlier on, but this time we are not typing each and every option. We are using a loop to loop through our list here in our array, and then display each and every item as we loop through. Okay, so you can see this is pretty much the same as other programming languages like JavaScript and TypeScript, like I always say, as compared to what we used to have using ngFor. I'm just going to copy and paste this code here, these lines of code. Here are two major differences. Here we are using ngFor to loop through our list, assigning whatever we have in our list into a variable, and then we display that variable. And then in this case here, we are using ngFor to loop through our list, which is users, and then assign the values into a variable called user, and then we use that variable to display onto our screen. Okay, so that's cool. Let's comment out this. Now, with this in mind, you can grab data from a list or from a database and then display it on your screen, on a UI. Like, for example, I might want to display all the users in a tabular format. For example, you log in as admin, you want to see each and every user and the rows that they have. In this case, let's go on and add a table under the admin section, and then we loop through every user and display it. All right, so we're going to go straight to the admin section, and then we want to add a table here. So we're going to say we want to have a table, and our table is going to have 2 rows. Yep, let's just say 2 rows. And it is going to have again, 2 rows times 2. And it's going to have 2 table data, so TD times 2 again, and then your tab. There we go. So this one here is going to be our TH, table header, table header, table header, table header, table header. And then here we will just have name and row. There we go. Looking good so far. Then as for the next one, let's use a loop now to loop through all the users that we have in our list, and then we display using this wall here. So perfect. At 4 for our user from users, and we want to track by ID. And then here we'll close our curly bracket here at the bottom. Just get rid of this white space. Perfect. Looking good so far. And then the only thing that we want to do here is we want to say, let's use our variable user to display username. Let's use our variable user to display our row. If that is the case, just save your work. And there we go. There we go. Let's just add some little bit of styling on our table. I'm just going to say, I want to use a class. And this class is going to be equals to table data, or data table. I already have got some styling for this class here. That's why you see this. So what does this mean? This means that if I go to editor, I won't be able to see that. I will only be able to see our table if I am on admin dashboard, or if I log in as an admin here, I'll be able to see admin details. Okay, the next thing that we want to look at is the switch statement. We have used the if statement before. Now let's turn the things a little bit up and use the switch statement. Now, if you just want to have a simple logic that determines a yes and a no, then the if statement is the best to use. But if you've got multiple possible cases or scenarios, then you can use a switch statement. And for that, let's jump back to our template and see how we can use a switch statement. Here we go. So just like what we did earlier on, let's have an h2 tag, and then we will then say we want to use a switch statement. Okay, let's come up with our template and switch. There we go. Okay, so after coming up with our template, we need to now set our condition, and our condition is that if a specific role has been selected, let's do this the following. Let's have a case left out the add sign and our case. Say for example, you go on and select admin. I'm going to copy this div tag here that we have under admin, copy it, and then we're going to paste it in here. Going to paste it in here. There we go. And then from there, we will go on to the next one. Add case gain. And just like what we did, I'm going to copy this div tag here, paste it in here. Then one important thing that we left out is editor. And then let's finish off with our default. Just like the if statement where we've got the else, here we also have got the default. And I'm going to copy this last div here, which is our, paste it in here. There we go. Right, save our work. And let's just comment out this if statement here. Let's just comment out this if statement here. Comment it out. And then we're left with the switch statement here. Save your work. Pretty much the same. This time we're using switch statement. So as you can see, our switch statement, it's not different from the switch statement that we have in our other programming languages. We're just using the similar syntax, but we are using it in our template instead of the component itself. Next thing that we want to look at are loop contextual variables, which allows us to loop elements or items in our loop in so many ways. Okay, so in this view, there are about 6 different types of contextual variable, loop contextual variables, which are $count, $index, $last, $first, $odd, and $even. So I'm going to go through not all of them, maybe just a few, 2 or 3, and show you how to use them. We will start with index. Okay, so in this case here, we're going to go back to our table, and then we want to add an index, or we want to add a numbering on our users here, saying starting from John as user number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and so forth. In order for us to do so, we will use $index. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to add another T on the table header, and then we'll just use a hash as a heading here. And then inside our for here, we will then simply do this. Let's add item, and then let's say let index, or I for index, to be equals to $index. Save your work. Now from there, we need to add another table data here. We'll simply say I, which is our index, then we plus 1. Because if we don't plus this one here, as we all know, all indexes in programming start from index 0. So we don't want to, in this case, we don't want to start from 0. We want to start from 1 going upward. That's why we say plus 1 here. Save your work, and then you will see on the table we have just added an index here. Or you might want even rows to have a different color from odd rows. So in this case here, we will then come here and we add another contextual variable. So in this case here, we're going to say let's even to be equals to $even. Save your work. And then on our TR, we will add a class now. We want to apply some styling. So we will then go ahead and say, let's have a class. And this class here, we will make use of this class name here, even row, which is going to be equals to this contextual variable here, even this contextual variable here. So if that is the case, let's go to our CSS, go to our CSS, save this first, go to our CSS, where's our CSS here? And I want to add. Then I'll say even row, our TD, I want to have background color of, let's just use light gray. Save your work. There we go. There we go. There we go. You can do the same with odd rows, just like what we did with even rows here. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to count the number of users that we have here and add another row that will display the total number of users. So to do so, we're going to add 2 more contextual variables here. The first one that we're going to add is count. So let's go on. Let's count will be equals to $count. Let's have another one. Let's last to be equals to $last. Save your work. Okay, these are my contextual variables which I've just declared here. So let's use them inside our loop. So outside your table row, we want to add another row, and let's tr table row with only a single table. Now just above it, we will use an if statement. If you open your, if this is going to be the last row, if this is going to be the last row, let us go on and do this. Let's go on and do this. We close this one. It's still good. If this is the last row, let us go on and do this. Inside your TD, let's just say this is going to be our column span, and then our column span is going to be equals to 3. And then inside here, we will then say total users going to be equals to our variable count. So you can see here we have just used the contextual variable last, which we declared here, and then the contextual variable count, which we also declared here, such that we have our total number of users here. Okay, so that's how you can use contextual variable. I know there are others which we didn't demonstrate, like odd and so on, and first. So that was the lesson on your flow control. The next lesson that we're going to look at is that of signals, which I'm excited to do this with you guys. See you in our next video. Thank you for watching.